all minus me beautiful. I truly fucking do. But they could not have the health issues I have. Like I said, they may not have blood pressure issues. They may not have blood sugar issues. They may not have gastroparesis like I do, and irritable bowel syndrome caused by laxative abuse. They may not have like an injured knee due to over-exercising. And that's what I was trying to explain to this doctor. But of course, he was just like, nah, we got to look at the bloods. We got to look at the blood tests to know, like, you know, if you're actually sick. So, you know, I'm being told I'm not sick enough, which is just feeding into my eating disorder. And here I am just wanting validation and help. I mean, I'm in hospital, for goodness sake. Was it an eating disorder ward? No. But did I think I could get some compassion and understanding and validation? Abso-fucking-lutely. Did I get that? No. I got told I wasn't sick enough. I got told I was healthy. I got told it didn't matter that I'd lost this much weight. Like, you know, you're okay. Like, it's all good. So I hit a massive low. Massive fucking low. And I spoke to one of the night nurses. And I kind of explained that I wanted to make a complaint about this psych. And I explained to him about how the BMI is bullshit. And he agreed. He's like, fuck yeah, it is. Like, it was invented this many years ago. Like, you know, it doesn't take into account genetics or heritage or color of skin or shape of body, shape of boobs. Like, doesn't count any of that. Or muscle, the fact that muscle weighs more than actual weight. Like, but then he turned around and said, but technically you're in a healthy BMI. And I was like, can I please have 15 milligrams of Valium right now? And he was like, no, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. And I'm like, no, I want 15 milligrams of Valium right now. And I'm there like trying not to bawl my fucking eyes out. I'm like, here I am thinking you're one of the few, like maybe 2 nurses I felt like I could talk to that I wasn't harassed or abused by. Or constantly like picked on or targeted. Like, and I'm just like, just give me the Valium. And he's like, no, I'm trying to understand. I'm like, no, like, you do not understand. You cannot understand. Just please give me the Valium so I can try calm down. So I took my Valium and it kicked in and I still felt exactly the same. Now, parts that you would have missed in that recording is that weirdly in this hospital, I'm allowed a certain amount of Valium during the day as my PRN, so prescribed when needed. So like if you're panicky or anxiety or triggered or whatever it may be. But I could only have this much, like half the amount at max, but then I had to wait 4 hours before I could have more. So I sat in the lounge room, even though I knew exactly where my head was. My head was like, yep, we're going to kill ourselves. We already worked out exactly what we were going to do the other day. We may have made it through that time, but no, we know exactly what we're fucking doing. That's it. Simple as that. I'll tell you this. It has been over 3.5 years since I've attempted suicide. And I can tell you this now, and my parents agree, if I hadn't gone to that hospital and hadn't had that psych, I probably wouldn't have attempted suicide. Simple as that. So I waited for this Valium to kick in. And then, of course, because it would have only been half an hour or something, would they let me have more Valium? No. I wasn't even going to ask because I knew the answer. I knew I had to wait 4 hours before I was allowed more. And it's like I went into a robotic autopilot state. Like I already knew exactly what I was going to do. And I won't go into entire detail. I will mention briefly what I did. and kind of what happened after. So a bit of a trigger here, but I'm not gonna like explain like how I did it and all this stuff. But to abbreviate, I went straight to my room. I was like, avoid all nurses, everything, go straight to your room like a zombie or a robot or something, not entirely in control of what I was doing. And originally, at the beginning of this video, you'll see a photo of me that I've edited where it's got a banner and it says on one side, to society, I will never be sick enough. To my eating disorder, I won't be sick enough until I'm dead. And that's how I felt. I felt like this is a losing battle. This eating disorder is going to kill me in the end. To the universe, I am not sick. And I notice it all the time. I notice it all the fucking time. People look at my photos and go, oh my God, you're so beautiful. You look so healthy. Especially because in the past I was quite overweight. And I'm like, do you not realize what it took for me to get to this size? This wasn't healthy eating. Wasn't a healthy lifestyle change. This was me starving myself. This was me shoving my fingers down my throat till I have burst blood vessels in my eyes and can barely see, throwing up everything I ate. This was in the past abusing mass amounts of laxatives and Movicol and coffee and over-exercising at night when I knew no one would notice, and going for hour and a half, 2 hour walks and then exercising some more, or going on the treadmill, or exercising even when I felt faint or my knee was hurting from injuring it from over-exercising. This isn't healthy. This isn't normal. This isn't illness. I'm not saying don't call me positive compliments. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying think about what you say, please. You don't realize what someone's going through. Like, I noticed myself looking at the photos. I did a photo shoot before I went straight into hospital. Looking at the photos from then and even now, there's a mass difference. Mass difference. But I'm healthy, right? So, that beginning picture at the beginning of this video, I was originally going to write that on a piece of paper and either leave it as a note or pin it to myself. And in the end, I just did a very quick goodbye video. Didn't even say anything more than that. I just said goodbye. And nobody has seen it. Nobody will. It's not something I'm going to share. It's not something I want my parents or anyone to see. Not quite sure whether I'll just delete it or what I'll do. Long story short, and trigger warning, if you want to skip ahead and don't want to hear this bit, I hung myself. Yeah. Well, the ambulance called it hanging / strangulation due to what I did, what I used. Long story, reverse a bit. The song I'm going to play after you've perhaps listened to all my talking, I don't know, you might be sick of me by now and be like, fuck this bitch, I'm over it. That and you know, I talk about super cheery, happy, you know, happy tree friends type, happy, glamorous stuff. Real life, bitches. The only reason I know how long I was hanging for, is because I pressed play to a song when I did what I did. And after you hear all of this, you'll see me doing a very emotional cover of it that I kind of dedicate to all the people I love. I did this recently, so I did it obviously after what I did. But it's the song I played. It's a song I interpret as both about suicide and losing someone. So originally to me it was about my babies and about my recent loss with my partner, our sweet little baby we named Little One. And for me, I was just like, you know what, I'm not sick enough to society, and my eating disorder just wants me to die, so I'm gonna kill myself. And you know what, if I kill myself, I get to be with my babies. I get to be with my babies. I feel like I'm constantly missing a limb. I feel like I am constantly searching, yearning for them in my very soul, that my uterus aches and feels like a graveyard I have to live with every day, and that as a mother I should be with my children. So to me, it was almost a win-win. I was like, you know what, this eating disorder is going to kill me in the end anyway. Nobody gives a fuck or sees that I'm actually sick. And this way I get to be in heaven with my babies. So I played this song. 15 or so minutes later, nurse checks came in, found me, got me down, and the most beautiful nurse sat with me. I could barely speak. I won't go into details of how horrendous what I did to myself was, because it was traumatic. My mum said to me, how could you handle doing that after being strangled? Because I was strangled by my abusive ex. And I can't always handle necklaces. I can't handle shirts too high. I can't handle hands near my neck. I can't even handle my seatbelt sometimes. And I just said to her, I think it shows how low I was that that's what I did. This beautiful nurse sat with me while I sobbed, and I could barely speak. I damaged my windpipe. That's why my throat, it's way better than it was. You can hear it in the beginning of that voice recording, and it was worse than that. But I have damaged my windpipe, so it does actually hurt to talk a bit, and it hurts to swallow. Not severely, but like I have trouble taking my morning medication, like my antidepressants, because clearly my esophagus is still swollen. Pretty much the nurse sat and talked with me, and we talked about, she wanted to see photos of my partner. We talked about my Barbie collection, and I could barely speak. I was like this, to be honest. I was like I could barely fucking speak, and I was just sobbing and sobbing, because I knew they'd have to call my parents. And I can't even talk about that, even though I know my mum is gonna watch this. I love you, Mama. And I know that those closest to me know it had nothing to do with them, that it was my brain, and I blame it completely on the psych and the treatment. But I'm so sorry, Mum and Dad, for putting you through this. I really am. I'm sorry that I couldn't get myself out of it or call for help or something. I mean, nearly 4 years of not having attempted, and just know I love you. And it wasn't. I'm so blessed to have you as my angels. I am. But I know how much it would have hurt. And I'm really sorry. I am. I'm really sorry because I love you so much. And to my partner and my friends. Oh, bitch, don't cry. If I cry, I won't stop. They said they needed to call the ambulance. I've been through this before, not with this type of attempt, but God, my God, my faith, He has made it very clear that He's not going to let me die. I've been told more times than I can imagine that I'm going to die due to a suicide attempt, or where I should have died from strangulation or something else. And, or even lithium toxicity means so many times. And you know what? He's made it clear that I'm meant to live. To the point that sometimes Mum and I would almost have to joke about it, because otherwise we'd cry, where we'd be like, no point in doing that. We know God doesn't want to let you die. This is probably backwards, but wingless angel for a reason. That tattoo came from a suicide attempt when I was 16. I was told one of many times I was going to die due to an overdose. And I went to sleep and it felt like I died. Literally felt like I died. And I remember having my hand out, kind of like that, as if like I was holding someone's hand, and being taken up halfway to heaven. And it's like the angel changed its mind and brought me back, and I woke up like that, still like I'd been holding someone's hand. And there was no one next to my bed. And if you believe me or not, like, I don't care. I know anyone, like, spiritual or believers of angels or anything would believe me, but that's how I got the name Wingless Angel, because I have meant to be up there with the angels, or an angel myself, have my own pair of beautiful wings. And God has made it clear that my experiences in life, that I was brought back here to be a wingless angel for other people. So when the nurses said to me, we need to call the ambulance, you can't swallow properly, you're barely talking, I had bruising and stuff around my neck, I was just like, there's no point. I'm fine. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be fine. I just need to sleep. And they're like, legally, we need to. Long story short, because I'm getting emotionally exhausted.